Ed Zaleski is Sales Director for Federal for Synack. Ed, welcome. It's great to see you. The intersection of cybersecurity and supply chain integrity is something that you have talked about at great length. What do you see that intersection presenting challenge-wise for the maritime community that's here?
Yeah, for me, I'm really concerned with the ability to manipulate data, right? So if I look at the DoD community in the bigger picture, if an adversary can get in and change the data, change the information of, do I have the supply parts or don't I have them? If they could change that, it makes a big difference. And also, just driving at, looking at the integrity of the input for like forms that they fill out. I want to ship to this address. That data is changed to go to Anchorage versus Charleston. That's a big deal. I can't get the ships running. I can't get the planes running. And that cyber readiness picture is horrible, but so is operational readiness. And that's what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be a lethal force ready to fight at any time.
It strikes me, too, that is an opportunity for a threat actor to go somewhere that maybe isn't top of mind for a lot of people. Obviously, if there's really important operational data or something like that, intelligence or whatever, that's the crown jewels in one respect. Whether parts are getting to a certain place is something that could potentially be a vulnerability.
And it's a subset of what we think about from a cyber perspective. We think of like a breach and they've done something malicious, but this is the subtleness that can make a big difference in what we're doing. And that, for me, keeps me up at night. I want to help them understand that the enemy is probably, let's assume a breach. They're already in there. We have to find the vulnerabilities they're using and root that out. And a lot of times it's the legacy systems that are out there everywhere. They're trying to modernize. We want to kind of take those legacy systems and stack rank them. Let's test them all. Let's see which one's ready. From a cyber perspective, least ready. Let's put them at the top of the list to modernize and help them, even with the testing of the software as they build it out. Once it's runtime, we can test it, looking for the risk. So when it goes for an ATO, it has both the risk and compliance side to get approved to join the network.
Is the risk from a cyber perspective different than the risk from a modernization perspective that would cause that matrix to look different depending on what you're examining?
I think so, right? So we're modernizing to bring them up to be current technology, right? And a lot of times, especially in the DoD world, a contractor's managing that program and nothing's changed over the years. Now they're going to modernize it and they're looking at it to get it faster, better, stronger. I want to look at it from a risk perspective of, even though we've built it better, is there still risk issues in there that are not going to be noticed in a compliance check to become ATO, right? To get an authorization to operate, they're looking at compliance and not the risk piece of it. And I want to change that and get both of those done so when it joins the network, we're not worried about the enemy getting in anymore.
How is the risk landscape changing? We talk about the threat landscape a lot and how threat actors are trying to access systems and so on. Is the risk and the risk management landscape changing in the same way?
I think so. They're going to use AI. We didn't talk much about that, but they're going to use AI to speed up their process. Synack brings to the table is both the automation and the human-led pen testing together. My engineer likes to talk about the Goldilocks and the three bears. You know, both of them do well, but it's the mix together that really is that good porridge that you want to eat, right? So that's what we're trying to bring together is the speed and efficiency with the effectiveness of a human-led pen testing together. That's what we're trying to change from a landscaping perspective.
How does one know that one can have confidence in the integrity of one's supply chain?
I think the only way to know is to test it. You have to look at it, right? Zero trust is a buzzword everybody's using. My question is, how do you know it works? I don't know it works until I've actually thoroughly tested it and continuously test it to ensure that the enemy's not getting through that barrier that we've created.
When you examine these networks, when someone inside the department examines networks, what's the flag that comes up that they should watch for?
That's a great question. My engineer would probably better answer this one than me, but I think what we look at is the vulnerabilities that are out there today are sitting there and they're unknown. We look at it from a perspective of bringing 40 sets of eyes to every engagement so that diversity of thought gives us a lot better penetration and coverage that allows us to kind of really see what's going on.
Ed, it's great to have you on the program. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you. I appreciate it. This is a great time.